All right, time now is 9:38. Today marks 40 years since the Jonestown massacre. A ceremony to remember the victims was scheduled for this afternoon in San Francisco, but it was canceled because of the poor air quality. 900 people died in Jonestown. Many of them were children, and their deaths were orchestrated by cult leader Jim Jones. Many drank fruit punch laced with cyanide. Others were killed. Jones also ordered followers to shoot and kill Bay Area Representative Leo Ryan, who led a delegation to Guyana to investigate the cult. His congressional aide at the time, Jackie Speier, who is now a congresswoman, was also shot 5 times that day. She survived those horrible injuries and has spent the last 4 decades in public service. And we're joined this morning by Congresswoman Speier. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Claudine.
Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us. So you've got your new memoir called Undaunted: Surviving Jonestown and Finding Hope in the Darkest Places and Breaking the Silence. You know, when we look back 40 years later, what do you want people to remember about Jonestown? And I read excerpts where you say this is not a mass suicide that enrages you to even hear it kind of characterized in that way.
So, you know, today always is a somber day for me because Congressman Ryan was assassinated and 900 people lost their lives, many of them, 300 of them, children. And it's also a day of gratitude because I was able to survive. But what we need to remember about Jonestown and about the People's Temple is that we can't look away because someone labels something a church and then conducts itself in an illegal manner. And that's what Jim Jones did. He was able to persuade politicians in San Francisco to look the other way. He was able to persuade the State Department to look the other way. And the result is that many people who were being held there against their will, when Congressman Ryan came to determine that and was unfortunately successful in finding that so many people wanted to leave, they then did the most unspeakable thing. And Jim Jones ordered the deaths of all of us on the airstrip and then committed everyone else to drink that cyanide-laced Kool Aid and be murdered.
You know, when I'm reading excerpts and I'm reading, you know, even as I've read through the years, every time I read it, it gives me chills, and I can't even imagine how you suffered the 12 hours waiting for help to come and being on that airstrip. You wrote in your memoir, though I survived, something within me died on that airstrip, be it my innocence or my belief in the natural fairness of life. 28 years old, how does it still affect you every day today?
Well, I carry with me the scars. I had an injury the size of a football in my leg. My arm had been blown up. But I must tell you that I'm also very grateful. But that was one of many traumas that I've endured in my life. And the book is all about looking at tragedy and turning it into triumph. It's looking at helplessness and hopelessness and turning that into healing. And so I hope those that read it recognize that we have more resilience than we think we're capable of, more courage than we think we're capable of, and we can overcome virtually anything.
All right. Congresswoman Jackie Speier, the last quote I read that struck me was pain yields action, and certainly it is great to have you with us today, and we wish you the very best on this book, and we are in interesting times, certainly.
Yeah, we certainly are. Thanks, Claudine.
All right. Thank you. All right. So